Hi, welcome back to film number 8 in this 10-part series that we've entitled The Master Trainer. And we're looking at the phase of the systematic process that encompasses delivery of training, delivering in the best way possible the vehicle that you've designed to achieve the performance improvement that you identified right at the beginning of the process. I don't think you'll be surprised when I tell you that the number one question by a long, long way that we're asked by trainers is this: what do I do with the difficult learner? What do I do with the person who won't stop talking, the person who's constantly aggressive, the person who keeps turning up late? What do I do with the person who shows no interest? All of that kind of stuff. And we all know for a fact that whatever group we go into, whoever sits in our training room, some of them will be quite challenging. And so this film, really, I want to focus on some of those challenges. I want us to look at them and maybe come up with some tips and hints of how we might deal with them. So listen, where else better to go than inside a training room? So let's go into a training room and have a look what's going on. I'm sure you've had those days when you've been traveling home convinced that you'd spent your day in a zoo. The number of creatures you've had to deal with, each with their own peculiarities, you're absolutely worn out. Here is one of those creatures that you may have come across: the giraffe. Long neck, eyes piercing on the front of the head. Totally different view of life, different perspective. And I'm pretty sure, like me, you've come across this kind of creature in your training room. You know the one, the highbrow, the one who has lots of alternative theories, the one who says those theories with a tendency to look down their nose at everybody else, that feeling that I know this already. They can unwittingly undermine you as they try to give alternative views to the rest of the participants. And they easily move around from subject to subject. They don't seem to have any discipline to focus on anything at all. So how do you deal with these creatures that you find? Well, here's just a few ways that I've discovered. One is that maybe when you have your discussions, then you actually name the person that you want to respond. Maybe you definitely will have to remind the group of the subject under discussion, and maybe ask the participant to hold on to their views until later on, when maybe they can have the floor to themselves and make a comment. The fact that you're in control of it makes all the difference. I don't know, the rhino, he's such a strange character. You're never quite sure how to take him, but the one thing that you are convinced of is that they are thick-skinned and appear totally uninterested. They don't really respond to any kind of promptings whatsoever. They can't be provoked. They don't rise to any challenge. They just sit there and get on with their day, totally disinterested, not wanting to engage, not wanting to participate. We've seen it 1,000 times, haven't we? And nearly every trainer will experience at some point in their career the disinterested rhino. So what can we do about it? Well, let me just give you 3 quick tips. The first thing is this: it's not about you. Before you curl up in a ball and start rocking backward and forth with anxiety about not being able to get through to your learners, understand this, that if there was a totally different trainer in a totally different room with a totally different subject matter, these people would probably behave in exactly the same way. Secondly, I'd say try to understand why they're there. I mean, don't forget, most training is mandatory, not just sort of health and safety training and all that kind of stuff, but also training to do with professional development, communication, organization development. Lots of organizations make that mandatory. And so you'll be met with a lot of disinterested employees who feel that they've been made to attend this training session when they don't feel that they need it. So just know that they have to be there and that they may as well just get on with it. The third thing is this: don't focus on the rhino, just power through. Even when less than ideal participants seem to be sucking the life out of your course, you still need to deliver the content to the best of your ability. Doing so will provide you with many opportunities to engage with them. Now, they may not engage, but you'll have the opportunities. You can call on them to give their opinions, to answer questions, provide feedback, and so much more. Now, if they continue to be disinterested, then you can walk away at the end of the day knowing that you did your best to engage that person. So that's the disinterested rhino. And of course, here we have the elder statesman of the zoo. The one who has that regal air about them, who sits there above it all almost, really not being too much of a problem, but actually not being too much of a help either. Maybe just at this point, I can just go back and say, what do we mean by a difficult participant? Well, my definition is this: a difficult participant is somebody who in some way is negatively impacting the learning environment, whether that's for themselves or whether that's for other people. And certainly you'll find that the elder statesman, the lion, the one who looks knowingly at everybody and seems to be above it all, is actually creating quite a negative impact on things. And my suggestion to you is this: to always remember the CIO, the three things that the elder statesman wants. First of all, the C, the statesman wants to be in control for what's happening. The I, the statesman wants to feel included and know that they belong and know that they are given their rightful place. And thirdly, if we do those two things successfully, we can move on to the O in CIO, which is openness. And the elder statesman can start to be open and supportive and helpful to the learning environment instead of exerting a negative influence. Of course, no zoo would be complete without the monkeys, would it? And our training rooms, sadly, are also incomplete without the monkeys. The monkeys tend to display themselves on courses where the participants know each other well, and the course is maybe dealing with a subject that they all know very, very well. These monkeys here in the zoo look quite benign, don't they? They're almost sleepy, but we know the truth. Given half the chance, these monkeys turn into chatterboxes. They've got an opinion about everything, both publicly and privately. They are just as likely to air their views in public and go off on a tangent as they are to turn to the person next to them and start muttering and talking amongst themselves. On a positive side, of course, the monkeys do show their enthusiasm. But on the negative side, then they may feel that they're being overlooked and not listened to. And this is their platform, both publicly and privately, as I say. So what do we do about these chattering monkeys? Well, there's a couple of things we can think about. We could just take the view that we stop talking and wait for their conversation to end. It's treating them a little childish, but it can work. Maybe to be a little more subtle, we could go and stand behind them and let them know by our presence that we're waiting for the platform ourselves and they need to give it up. You could change the seating arrangements, move them round quite regularly so that they're not sitting with the same people. Ask them a direct question. Put them on the spot and make them share something that is least relevant to everybody else. Maybe you could ask them to take notes and then give them 2 minutes at the end of the session to summarize. When they pause, of course, then you need to leap in, rephrase their statements or their comments very briefly, and then pass on to the next topic. Not easy to deal with the chatterbox monkeys, but we will be faced with them and we will have to deal with them. And as we develop our own strategies, we'll become more comfortable in dealing with them. And of course, that's true for all of these animals in the zoo. We've only looked at 4 of them, and we've picked up only 4 types of learner that we are faced with. don't forget, the definition of a difficult learner is somebody who in some way negatively impacts the learning environment for themselves or for other people. Well, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed our short trip into the training room, and you probably recognize some of the more challenging participants that you faced. Can I refer you to just below the video here, the film here, where we've got, as usual, a substantial support document where, yes, we not only describe the behaviors, but we actually want to give you some strategies of how you can deal with them. And of course, as always, I'm really interested in how you deal with difficult and challenging participants in your training courses. So why don't you leave some comments below, and then we can all share in your wisdom as well. So that's great. Thank you for watching. And until next time, goodbye. Hi, thanks so much for watching the film. I just want to keep you for a few moments more to tell you about something really important. As a member of the Institute of Training and Occupational Learning, we are able to accredit and certify your own training courses. So why don't you click on the link below, and you'll have all the information about how you can deliver an ITOL certified and accredited training course and give an ITOL certificate to your students. Thank you.